Hey everybody, Rebels of Cloud 9 here. I hope you guys are doing well, and today I am very excited. I get to talk about this little tool here, this little sander from Dspiae. And this was actually lent to me by my brother, so I'd like to say a huge thank you to him for allowing me to test out this product and to make this video to show you guys this cool little tool here. Now this is a little handheld sander. We'll open up this nice little magnetic case that it comes in. It's a lovely little case, I gotta admit. And here we have our sander, sanding heads, and a recharging cord. Now, you might be wondering what's the whole point of having an electric sander like this? A normal sanding block worked fine. Well, I gotta agree with you on that one. But this is kind of meant for tinier parts that are harder to sand, as well as there are sometimes lately, notice I'm getting a little bit older, sometimes my handles start cramping up when I'm holding little bits of sandpaper and I'm trying to sand really tiny little places, and this helps out quite a bit. So let's take a look at this here. So first we'll take a look at the sander itself. It's this long pen here, and it's got a protective cap on the top. It's a good pry to get it off, but here we are. This is where we can attach the different heads. We've got the nice Dspiae, or Dspiae, however you want to say it, logo there. We have an on-off button here, as well as the different settings. I'll get to that in just a second. Here's our power button. This is a light that you can change color. It has a bunch of different colored LEDs in it. Why, I don't really know. It's just something they thought would be interesting, I guess. And then we have in the back here, we have a port for our cable to recharge everything. So that is pretty cool. And it's a very light unit. You can hardly even feel it. And yeah, this moves backwards and forwards in a very fast manner, I might add, to do all the sanding that you might need. So speaking of the sanding, let's look back into the box here. We've got all these different sanding heads. They're different sizes, they're different styles. Like here we have one. It's a very pointy little square one here. Let's see. Yeah, this one has a pointed end on it. That one's very useful. And we've even got some angled ones here for sharp corners. Sorry, the camera's not quite focusing in on this. There we are. So we got that one there. Got a couple flat heads, and like this one here is rounded for curves. So for the purposes of this video, I think I'm going to use this one here, the smallest one. We'll just close this up real quick. And to attach these, it is super simple. You literally just push it on, and it should pop in there. Oops. Oh. Yeah, making it super simple. I'm making it complicated. It's what I do. We got the little bit of sandpaper on here. This is a little bit of a sticker-backed sandpaper. So this is what they come in for the different sandpapers. They come in this little packet, and you get a whole bunch of different grits inside of here. They're all cut with an adhesive on the back. So this is an opened one. So here we have 800 grit, we have 600, 280, which feels pretty good actually for really aggressive sandings. 400 is also a really good one. And this is a very grit one. This is a 180. Got a very hard grit there. And then we have a nice polishing 1000 grit. So you get all these sandpapers in the packets. So they're fairly inexpensive as well. I was quite surprised by that. And to peel them off, you just... They have pretty good adhesion. They're made by 3M, I was surprised to learn. But you just literally pull it off like that. And what do I want to use? I think I want 400 for the purposes of my demonstration here. So I'm just going to peel this off and stick it onto the backing like that. So there you go, brand new. And then you can wet sand with these as well if you need to. You just dunk it in the water and away you go. Works quite well for all that. So to turn it on, we just push this button here, and there it goes. You can see the color changing there. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And then just click it, turn it off again. Now, as I mentioned, it does have 3 speed settings, and to do that, you kind of click it in rapid succession. So there you go. So I'm going to go get my camera set up here. We're just set up in a different angle here so we can get up some closer shots, and we're going to go test this out on some products. So here's a part of a model that I'm working on. You can see these areas here that need to be sanded down. They're kind of difficult for me to get. I was able to get this part here with the sanding pad, but some of them have details that are just a little bit difficult. So I'm going to go ahead and try this out. Oop. There we go. Let's just have a look at that. That's pretty good. Look at that. It's all gone now. Nice and clean. I can go to a higher grit in just a moment and really smooth and polish it out. But yeah, why don't I try the rest of that there. Go on the highest setting here for right now. How about in this tight corner down there? I think that one's going to be a bit more difficult. Yeah, I think that one's going to be a bit more difficult. I'm going to have to go back on that one in a little while. But looking at the rest of it, it's pretty good. It's a little difficult for me to polish this so well when I'm recording and looking at the screen rather than looking at it, you know, having it up a few inches away from my face. It is a very quiet unit as well. It's basically the same noise as an electric toothbrush. And yeah, it's quite nice. It does take, I will admit this, it does take a bit of getting used to. You gotta kind of figure out how to lay it down really flat. You know, sometimes you're sanding and you kind of want to go like this or like this. And yeah, it's also a bit of a challenge to see where it is and where it's going to be because the head is moving so much. And like I said, it's not like that's something wrong with the machine. It's just something that takes a bit of getting used to. So the other thing I want to test it out on is this. This is some 3D printed resin. It's quite aggressive stuff. And I'm going to turn this up to the highest setting. You can see these. This is some dissolved putty in here to try and clean that up. And yeah, just going to go over this a little bit and see how it does on the resin. So there you go. It did a pretty good job, actually, of taking that down. But as I also mentioned, 3D printed resin is quite aggressive stuff. You kind of want to use a heavier grit, and this 400 might not be enough for some of this stuff. I might need to go 240 or 180 to really get into it, and then use like the 4 or 600s to polish it down really smooth again. But it is doing a really nice job. It is making things a lot easier. It's a lot smoother than it was before when that putty was all over it. So yeah, it does do the job for this quite well. So just some final thoughts on this little machine before I wrap this up. What I really enjoy about this thing is it does have a rechargeable battery in here. It takes, as they say on the packaging, it takes only about 20 minutes to recharge this thing. That's pretty fast. It's pretty darn cool. It's nice that they include a whole bunch of heads in here, and I would actually suggest, if you're getting one of these, to get replacement heads. You can buy them separately. I would suggest maybe getting even 2 or 3 sets of these heads, and that's just so you can have like a set of 180, a set of 200, a set of 600 grits, so you don't have to just keep swapping between these and peeling them off all the time. You can just pull out a whole bunch of different heads with the tapes on them. That's especially helpful if you're moving up in progression of sanding, so you want to do something aggressive. You just have a whole bunch of these with 180 pads on them. And then you want to do polishing, so you have a whole bunch with 1,000 grit on there. So like I said, they're not that expensive to buy extras of these. Like I said, they do sell them separately. The other really nice thing is the sandpapers here are very easy to get. They're not like the hard thing that you have to buy a whole bunch of. A lot of stores I've seen sell them. It's for this little pack. You get a whole bunch of those little squares everywhere, and you get all the grits in here, which is very nice to have. Really glad that they make that so easy to get. I will say a downside to this machine is it does say like don't apply too much pressure, and that's a bit of a difficulty when you're sanding, because there's times when like I'm sanding and I'll press on it and you can hear it kind of like get a little bit tense. So to remedy that, you do need to start with a more aggressive sandpaper, and yeah, you don't want to apply too much pressure to burn out the motor, but it does work quite well. Like I said, when you get through that learning curve of finding out what this tolerance is that it can do and how it works, and again, seeing where the head is going to be compared to where you are working as you're moving around, it takes a bit of a learning curve, and then you get used to it and you're speeding along like there's nothing to it. It's a really handy tool to have. It's very, very useful, and it's a very inexpensive tool for what you're getting. I really actually highly recommend this to a lot of people, especially I know I get comments from some of my viewers. They're up there in age and they talk about some problems that they're having with arthritis. I think this could be a great tool for some of you out there. And also for the rest of us, it's great for, you know, pieces like this that are kind of difficult to get around. You know, you need to stand around all these difficult shapes. It cuts the work down a lot. It makes things go a lot easier. So I would really recommend you guys go ahead and check this out. You can find them basically all over worldwide. And yeah, I think you're going to be very, very satisfied with this. Once you get one and you start playing around with it, it just opens a lot of possibilities within your modeling. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the description in the comments section, and I will do my best to get back to those as soon as I can. But until then, this is Robs with Cloud9 signing out.